Bobby, may I go? Bobby, may I? Yeah, obviously, the game was everything, that we expected it to be. Credit St. John's. I mean, their defense is real. The pressure they put on you, the physicality, the switching, their ability to rotate and scramble, and then obviously the physicality. And we've been playing with fire. We were fortunate to win at Marquette, with 25 turnovers and able to mitigate that by some serious shot making. But we've been playing with fire, and the 22 turnovers, the 47 in the last two games is just really low level. And if you'd have told me we'd be plus 10 on the backboard, I would have said to you that we would have won the game. But you give up basically 18 free points off turnovers, and then you get outscored in transition 12-6. You're basically in the free points category there. You're minus 22, and that's you're not going to win games versus teams as good as St. John's is this year doing that.
Dan, is there something that sticks out to you about the turnovers the past three games, other than the fact that obviously you're playing against two really good teams?
Well, I just think it's matchups too. Some of it is just Marquette's defensive style is pressure and athleticism, and they get into you. And St. John's does similar things, except they're even more physical. I mean, they're way stronger than we are. Just across the board physically, but I just think Hassan is hobbled. Hassan is hobbled. I don't think that we're a great dribbling team overall. Just across the perimeter. And then we don't really have a backup point guard that we're comfortable with. So really, like a hobbled Hassan is. At 34 minutes is right now our best option. But then there were some really bad, stupid ones too that occurred, like Taras, running the guy over, or I think that probably 60% of those were forced. 40% of them were like low-level basketball.
I know you focus on your team, but how good is that team you just played? And can they go deep in March? You've been deep in March as far as you can go.
Yeah. I mean, they got a little bit of like a Houston type of vibe to the way that they play, the defense, the rebounding. Luis is a pro. Kadari's playing himself into a pro this year. I love Smith as a player. Smith's a tremendous player. He's working his way back from injury. Tremendous center play. I mean, they got a formidable team. I mean, right now, it looks like them and Creighton right now look like maybe the two best teams in this league. But they're a formidable team.
Dan, what did you like from Liam? Obviously, he had to knock some rust off, but it seemed like he took initiative down the stretch.
I think what killed us in the first half, I think, obviously Liam knocking off some rust. Liam got some great looks. Alex got some great looks in the first half. I mean, if we make a couple of those, you're going into halftime with a cushion. Obviously, you had 10 turnovers at halftime as well. But I thought Alex had four great looks in the first half that would have kept that game at 9, at 12. And for Liam's going to make I don't know what we're going to do about obviously just the point guard situation with Hassan's health and the lack of answers that we have there. But I think this was a tough game to return to for Liam. And it's going to take him a game or two to get rolling. But he's 18 and 11, and that second half in that type of game, was impressive.
think Alex got a little gun shy after he missed those shots. He didn't really take charge maybe the way you would have liked towards the end of the game.
I just thought Alex is, Alex is such a smart player and he's such a perfectionist, and I think, it's everything he's done with his resume. He doesn't really, owe any of us or UConn anything with what he's been able to deliver here. But I want to see him fire. I mean, you got to go out on your shield, and there were threes I think he should have fired, and opportunities that he should have pressed, and you just you got to be willing. You got to be willing in games like this to go 3 for 14 and be like, you know what, F it. F it. Like, I went for it. I came up short. I'll deal with whatever criticism or whatever social media says. But yeah, I mean, Alex got to take 12 or 13 shots in that game there, and but he's such a smart player, and he's trying to get better shots. But one of the things we talked about going into this game was your defense was so good. You're going to be shooting in tighter windows, and the longer that you pass up like a decent look versus that defense, you're going to end up with a worse shot or a late shot clock turnover.
Coach, you talked about not a great dribbling team.
Where are you?
Oh, I'm right here. Coach.
Oh, there you
Camera, sorry.
Hi.
How you doing? You talked about lack of dribbling and not having a great backup position at point guard. Do you feel like their defense disrupted your freedom of movement, and there was a concerted effort, it looks like, to take to the hole a little bit more in the second half? Can you talk about that?
Well, I think switching everything, which they do, and they do it great, and then they scramble. So, they switch on ball, they switch off ball, they pick up, they press. So I just think we're obviously much better against teams that are going to guard you conventionally. It's easier for us to. We're a team that's reliant on getting shots for our players based on a lot of the things that we run, and switching switching affects that a lot. But I just think just the 47 turnovers in 2 games. I mean, it's again, I'll credit their defense, but then there's going to be some there where we're getting defensive rebounds and throwing the ball, bizarre outlet passes that they're stealing. I mean, just some just undisciplined stuff that we're doing that makes you feel like you're not coaching your team well when you have 47 turnovers 2 games in a row. You feel like a shitty coach.
Dan, does Liam's second half give you some optimism going forward, just because he played so hard? And listen, this was bad. I mean, we've lost 2 in a row at Gamble, where we've been unbeatable. There's a lot, I think. We got to get Alex going. Liam's gonna. This was a great game to knock the rust off. Obviously, Solo's been off some. Obviously tough sledding in the second half with getting looks, and when he got him, a couple rimmed out. We got to find a way to try to get Hassan healthy. I thought Taris battled with 12 and 15. Sampson, it was a tough night for Sampson. I'm optimistic. I mean, these last 2 matchups have just been bad matchups for us. I mean, teams that pressure you, while we're dealing with some of the issues that we have at point guard, both health-wise and just in general struggling. I'm very optimistic. I think right now is a really good time to play us. I think we've got a chance in February to kind of get this thing rolling and be looking a lot different in March. But again, 47 turnovers in the last 2 games. Like, we're lucky we went 1-1.
Dan, yesterday you said Hassan's, what he's dealing with is something he's going to have to keep dealing with for the rest of the year. Do you have any sort of clarity on what that injury is? Was it the knee soreness?
Well, he's dealing with a knee, and
So he's not practicing between, which is an issue for him because obviously there becomes a problem in terms of being sharp. Ahmad Noel has been out for a while with his ankle, and then Liam's been limited. Aiden's been out, with the knee that he suffered in the beginning of the week. So, we just we've been a little bit banged up. I don't know that that's the total reason. Why we're in the position we're in with the 47 turnovers, but we got to just find a way to get healthy. I mean, does that mean we've got to sit Hassan for a week or two and try to hold down the fort and see if we can get him back? We got to make some decisions medically, because what we're doing right now, it's not working.
Over here to your right. In an era of like shot quality and all that stuff, is it odd or uncomfortable to defend a team that is taking mid-range and all these things?
Yeah, I mean, again, if you would have said, for me, because we've been a bad defensive team, you kind of, we had the people shooting threes for them that we wanted shooting threes for them. They're Luis, those guys are shooting, those middies, and they're very proficient at it. But it's a shot that you could, I guess, kind of live with. It'll be interesting the next time we play them. But they're unique. They're a unique team that way. I mean, I think what's made them so great in Big East play is obviously the physicality. One of the best defenses in the country, and obviously an awesome rebounding team.
Because like they kind of go against like a lot of the instinctual things that you spend all year teaching of like when to close out, when to let a guy, like when to stop a guy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if they, this was a huge paint, game for us versus them. I think, like Luis and Richmond got like a couple of like deeper paint, 8 to 10 footers, which aren't okay, but those 15 to 17 footers, you're, I guess kind of as a defense, you kind of don't mind, but then, these guys are really, proficient with it. So, yeah, Brendan. I don't know how I feel about it. But again, like, if you'd have told me we'd out-rebound those guys by 10, I would have said, what are you on? What are you drinking, or what are you drugging? Because it's just, to go plus 10 on the glass, was mitigated by being minus 22 in transition points. Transition defense sucked, and the points off turnovers killed us.
One or two more?
I think Ahmad looked like he was warming up before the game. Is he closer to returning? And when that does happen, can he be a guy who can help you out more at the point, or is he, freshman obviously being thrown in there? Can he help you out a little bit with Hassan's struggles?
Yeah, I mean, just between him and Aiden, we obviously need something there. They both have had opportunities during the year. Ahmad's obviously missed time. He's got to get, to full health, or, we've got to figure out that position, or the rest of the year is going to be a real struggle.
Last one for Mike.
Dan, Liam having the ball so often down the stretch, how much of that is just him demanding it, and how much of it is you and your staff directing the team to get him the ball versus instead of any other way?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ball was. I think number one, I think Liam is attracted to the ball because he wants the ball. Some of it was, or I would say it probably maybe 50-50 split of, in terms of people that looked confident or competent with the ball. At that point, it didn't feel like there were a lot of other options for us. So, we've got to figure that out. But again, I credit, there's not a lot of defenses that we're going to play against, and I do think that their defense, with the pressure, with the switching, and with how great a job they do with it, it's a tough matchup for the way that we play. But we've got to find other people that are able to put the ball in their hands in space and can just go and create. It's hard to script out actions the entire game. We need guys to be able to win more one-on-ones and go make plays in space and do things more off script and that's obviously a strength for Liam.
Thank you.
Thank you.